All right, so let's get started. Please excuse my husband if you could hear him. He is working and he forgets that we are next door to each other. He's in his office, I'm in mine, and sometimes his voice amplifies. I want to keep this close to natural skin color. So I work intuitively. I don't plan for anything, so I'm going to see what happens. I do want to blend these, so let me select. She's pretty fair skinned, so I'm going to use and this is the problem. This is why I put it on time lapse, because I can't make decisions. I take my time and do what I need to do. But anyway, let me try this one. That's a little lighter, or maybe this one. I'm going to try these two together for now and see what happens. So I'm going to approach this as though I'm using regular medium, watercolor, or pencil. And normally I do the dark areas first, because that helps you to decide where to go next, and any colors that you put down, they pop the way they are supposed to with the dark colors when you put them next to each other. So with that said, all these areas here are the shadow, so I'm not going to touch those right now. I'm just going to do the outside, or rather the face, the edges of the face. And again, because I want this to be kind of precise, I am touching it down lightly. I'm not putting down too much pressure. So we're going to skip over that and then go this way. And as I said, see, here is a problem, because I like being precise. All right, I'm gonna leave it there and see what happens. Let me see how close I can get to that edge, because this is gonna go over top to mute that down. Okay, and then the same thing, since this is the shadow, I am gonna go ahead and make this dark. This is definitely a learning process. I love this medium, but I wish they were sharpened. I will have to turn this a bit. Now, if you draw something big, then you don't have to worry about being so precious with this. But as you can see, she is not too big. The portraiture I did with a mix of gouache and acrylic. So these are going to be the highlights. This highlight in here is lighter than this one here. So, and again, I'm going according to the reference picture. Let's see what happens. I mean, the deer came out okay, but I had more space to work in. I do have the Caran d'Ache, and the Caran d'Ache you can sharpen, which I love. but those are water-based. So I think that if Caran d'Ache has a pastel, that I may use that. Okay, so I'm gonna set aside, I'm gonna put these in the box for the ones that I've already used so that I know what I can go back to. And then I want to also use this one here. And these don't have, they're AP certified. They give you the name, but they don't give you the light fast. And I know that the Paul Rubin, they have the light fast on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this peachy color for this light area here, so that I have my medium tone. So I'm gonna do this the way that I would do a regular portrait with watercolor, following those same rules. This is lighter. This in here, oh boy, this is gonna be tough. Okay. This is the lighter one. Let me do this one here. Let's see if I can get this line across. Okay. This should be darker. I'm gonna keep filling this in, and then once I come back to do the blending, then we'll come back to that. I'm gonna put you on time lapse. Okay, and we are back. I'm finally finished with the piece. I have to do the background, but I wanted to show you, these are the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2, which are water-soluble crayons. Now, I like to sharpen mine. When I sharpen them, I usually put the shavings into a little watercolor, one of these things to hold watercolor. Oops. So what I do is I just take it and put the shavings in there, and then I add a little bit of water or glycerin, and then I use it as a watercolor, so nothing goes to waste. All right, that's 1. And 2, I think I'm gonna do the background with one of these watercolor crayons. So let me just go ahead and set this aside so that it doesn't fall anywhere. And let me plug in. I always forget to plug in my iPad. Okay. And then this way we can, what color should I do? I think I want to do this vibrant green and see what the contrast is. You have to, when you get rid of the crumbs, you have to do it very, very gently. Before I do the background, I'm going to use the Arteza 1.0 for the eyes, for the light of the eyes. And again, this is wax. So I don't know if this is going to. Let's see if it'll write on my tape. Okay, good enough. And I think I need to use, I don't have gray in the crayon. So let me see if I can use this black very lightly and then the white over it, which should make it gray. There. And then we are going to put a very thin line and do the same. There. I love working with these because I make them pointy. So I think I'm gonna try the regular Caran d'Ache, the first series that she brought out. They're not water soluble, so I think I'm gonna do that. All right, so I'm going to attempt to put this crayon down and see what happens. I am going to use water, of course, to dissolve it. So I don't want I want to make sure that when I dissolve it, I don't have the lines showing. So I have to get rid of this here. I'm gonna turn it so that I don't ruin her face. I kind of like the way this one came out with the on the watercolor paper. I do have to say that I'm going to next time, because I wouldn't mind using watercolor paper. It's less expensive than the pastel pens paper. To do like a wash over it so that the holes that you see don't come out. So that's going to be my next experiment with my Holbein pastels, oil pastels. I want to keep the point on this, so I'm going to keep turning it as I use it so that I don't have to sharpen it. I was thinking about using the Jane Davenport watercolor Incredibles, but I wanted to keep this crayon specific, so I went with this, and because it is something that I can dilute with water, it'll be fine. There's a little black cat outside. Not little, but there's a lost black cat. And my husband doesn't want to pick him up because he's afraid that I'll want to stay with it. And he's not wrong about that. Oh, and I gotta put the highlight and the, I gotta finish her earring. Okay. You see all the white specks? I prefer that it didn't have that, but it does. when I use this brush, I just lightly, see, I turn it as I move my crumbs down. You're not pushing hard at all. I'm just basically holding it like that because you don't want to smudge it. So now that I did that, let me see if this will take better. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to use the same watercolor brush. And my water's right here if I could get it open. Oh boy. And make sure that my brush is clean. And let's see. I guess it's okay if it has a textured background. The water's only going to go where the paper's wet, so it's not going to touch her. Okay. I guess I shouldn't keep messing with her. Let me let that dry. I did want it a little darker. Maybe I'll do another coat. I'm going to let this dry and I'll be back. Okay, we are done. All that's left to do is to sign it and let it dry because the background is still wet a little bit. I'm going to try to sign it over here. Maybe I need to use black with that. For now, I will leave it like this. I'm done. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed this session. Again, leave your comments down below, any questions that you may have, or any suggestions that you may have. Take care.